Hello and welcome back to Silver Griffin Makes a Thing, where we make whatever we feel like at the moment. It's the holiday season and we're getting into the spirit of things by participating in a 12 Days of Christmas collab. Myself and 11 other doll artists have gotten together and are each creating a doll based on the gifts from the classic Christmas song. This year we have Lemon Kitten making the partridge in a pear tree, Bonnie Wee Doll making 2 turtle doves, Lucia's Strange Universe making 3 French hens, Stitchwick making the 4 calling or collie birds, Heliophobiant making 5 golden rings, Cute and Cursed making 6 geese a-laying, Silver Griffin making 7 swans a-swimming, Bumblecrafty making 8 maids a-milking, The Witch Crafting making 9 ladies dancing, Imagination Dream Studios making 10 lords a-leaping, Heliophobiant making 11 pipers piping, and Diomanza Craft making 12 drummers drumming. To spice things up just a little bit, we're making our festive dolls with a vintage Hollywood glam theme. Everyone will be linked in the description below, so don't miss a single day of this Christmas doll bonanza. When I signed up for this collaboration, the first idea that popped into my head was a synchronized swimmer. I think they call it artistic swimming these days, at least in the Olympics. For a while, there was a spate of films like The $1 Million Mermaid showcasing groups of elegant swimmers in glamorous costumes performing intricate routines, and I always thought it was super cool. Hollywood, bring this trend back. Professional artistic swimmers are insanely awesome. Anyway, the design for this doll was pretty much set from day one. A fabulous swan lady in a vintage swimsuit bedecked with bling, ready to kick and splash her way to stardom. My stock box provided the perfect candidate, a Monster High Spectre Vondergeist who was already missing both hands and 1 forearm. A lot of the original Monster High dolls that you find in secondhand lots are missing 1 or more of their detachable parts, so it's always great when you can make a custom that takes actual advantage of that. It means you can salvage the bits that they do have that you don't need and then save them for another project. It's already day 7, so let's get started. November and December are super busy months for me. I'm always cranking out handmade gifts, there's holiday travel and meals to prep and plan for, shopping to do, and I have a birthday somewhere in there. We're just gonna speed run the usual prep here. Cutting her hair, removing her head by soaking it in hot water, scraping out the plugs, and wiping off the factory face with a pure acetone so we have a nice blank canvas. Gesso makes a very nice base for prepping the face if you want to start on pure white, and black gesso does an excellent job of covering Spectre's transparent lower legs. I do have to make sure the gesso on her lower legs is sealed in really well with an acrylic satin varnish, since otherwise it chips off really easily. With the prep work done, I put together her outfit off screen. Vintage bathing suits come in a variety of cuts and styles, but I was particularly enamored of this one-piece style that is essentially a short dress with built-in panties, hems that cut off at the hip level, and thin little shoulder straps. I was able to modify a bikini and a short dress pattern and combine them to recreate this style of swimsuit in a slightly stretchy white fabric. I did feel like she was a very black and white doll at this point. Understandable really, since swans are pretty much either white with black and orange accents or black with pinkish red accents. Still, she's supposed to be festive and glamorous, so she really needs something to make her pop. I decorated the swimsuit by adding gold trim at the hem and bust, gold spaghetti straps, and some nail art pearls in various sizes. A lot of vintage Hollywood costumes feature additional bling in some form or fashion, and pearls seemed like just the right fit for our synchronized swimmer swan. Since she's for the 7th day of Christmas, all of her pearly bling is arranged in groups of 7. A little topaz yellow nail gem at the bust adds just a touch more color. I cannibalized Delightful's baseball cap pattern she designed for Yuvi's outfit in order to make a swim cap. This proved to be a slight error. Swim caps are supposed to fit really close to the head, and this pattern was sized to use a thicker fabric than what I was using, so it came out just a little bit wrinkly. The texture at least looks kind of interesting, so I don't worry too much about it. For the wings, I'm falling back onto the years I've put into studying wing anatomy. Bird wings are just modified arms after all, and their skeletal structure is actually very straightforward. I'm building from the elbow out, following the way real bird wings are designed. Back in my Borealis the Aurora painting fairy video, I showcased these ball and socket joints meant for hobbyist figure makers. Turns out I had a couple extra sockets and that this middle-sized socket fits almost perfectly into the elbow joints of Generation 1 Monster High dolls. These will be what I use to connect the wings to the arms. I set a length of wire into the socket with some glue as an armature, then build up a base with some friendly form thermoplastic. I gotta say, I love this stuff. It's really great for quick sculpts and base layers. It sets quickly, can be resoftened, and is pretty lightweight all things considered. Between it and the wire, I have a nice little ulna and radius, as well as the wrist joint and fused finger that bones have, all formed into one. Over this bone, I glue a little platform made out of craft foam that will give me a base for gluing on feathers. And after this, it's a matter of selecting wing feathers that curve in the right way. Yes, wing feathers have a curve that shows which wing they're from. I sort them from longest to shortest to mimic the way that a waterfowl's primary and secondary feathers form a roughly triangular wing shape, trim the quills to the correct length, and glue them to the wing structure. Over the wing feathers, I trim body feathers to lay over them, building up the arm part of the wing until it's all nice and smooth. I use fluffier feathers in strategic places to help soften the whole look a bit. The wings can now be set in the elbow joints of the doll. They even swivel a little bit. I do a quick bit of blushing on the cheeks and joints, seal them in with MSC, and start right on in with the acrylic paints. Time for the face up. Since synchronized swimmers aren't exactly known for wearing a lot of swan makeup, I did look rather closely at makeup looks from ballerinas performing in Swan Lake. Really, my favorite version of this makeup came from Natalie Portman's iconic look from the film The Black Swan, and so my doll's face up is based quite heavily off of that makeup. A little copper shimmer over the irises give them that special touch. Once the paints are dry, I spray a final layer of MSC. It's been unseasonably warm all through November and December here, so my MSC is actually cooperating. Afterwards, I gloss the eyes and lips with some Liquitex gloss varnish. I decide I'm not quite done with the feathers yet, so I find these white hackle feathers in my stash and trim them down to make little escape strands of feathery hair. Again, since she's for day 7, I do 7 of these in total. I glue on the swim cap and add more nail pearls as a final touch. And with that, she's done. I think I'm going to call her Nina. This was a really fun collab, and I really enjoyed how smoothly she came together. Right from the start, I had a very clear idea of what I wanted her to look like. Her wings especially were a lot of fun to make. Don't miss the other 11 days of Christmas that we have turned into glamorous dolls. Everyone will be linked below.